this is Jessica with Dining Traveler, and welcome to Dining Traveler Cooking Series, where we try dishes from our favorite destinations at home. And for this very special edition, we're headed to La Playa. We're headed to the beaches of Puerto Rico, and we're making frituras. Frituras are those yummy, decadent, crunchy fried treats that you find at many of the kiosks and restaurants alongside the beaches of Puerto Rico. And for this episode, we are gonna make empanadillas, some people call it pastelillos, empanadas, de camarones, of shrimp. Very simple to make, very delicious. This episode is brought to you by the National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture in Chicago. They have some great virtual and in-person programming this year. Their link is on the description. Make sure you check them out. And now let's get started. First step is to prepare the filling. This is a super simple filling of shrimp. I like to use tiny baby shrimp. I buy them at the frozen section at my supermarket. If you can find them, that's fine too. Just buy regular sized shrimp. And what I would do is just chop it in little pieces, because that will allow you to put more filling into your pastelillo. My shrimp are pre-cooked, so we don't want to cook them too much. So what I'm going to do is focus on cooking the onions, the sofrito, and the spices, and then add just shrimp at the end so those flavors can integrate. We have a frying pan. We added a little bit of olive oil. We're gonna heat that up. We're gonna add the onions with a little bit of garlic. We're gonna let this cook for around 2 to 3 minutes until the onions are nice and soft. Now that the onions are nice and soft, we're gonna add the sofrito. Now the sofrito and the onions are nicely integrated. It smells delicious. We're gonna add the tomato sauce and the adobo and the sazon. And we're gonna allow this to cook for a few extra minutes. I would say 2 to 3 minutes for those flavors to come together pretty well. So now the sauce, onion, sofrito, all the spices are nicely integrated and it smells delicious. This is the point where we're gonna add the shrimp. And again, it's gonna be super fast, like a minute or two for all those flavors to come together. We don't wanna overcook the shrimp. Qué rico huele. It makes me think of the beach. It really took 5 to 6 minutes from start to end. So the next step is to assemble the empanadillas, pastelillos, and this is super fun. You can get the whole family involved. When I was little, I used to love filling the empanadillas. And also you'll notice that I'm using pre-made discs. There's no need to reinvent the wheel, mi gente. They would taste just as delicious. And I'll let you in a little secret. Many of the fritura places in Puerto Rico use pre-made disc, and trust me, if I can find them in Europe, you can find them wherever you live. So we'll pull the disc, place it on the cutting board or whatever hard surface you have, and we're gonna use around a spoonful of the filling. Then we're gonna fold it, then we're gonna press it on the sides, and I like to use a fork to pinch it all together. And I like to do this on both sides. And just have a paper towel handy if there's a little bit of the juice from the shrimp that escapes. Just make sure you dry it up a little bit, because you don't want a big mess when you start frying your empanadillas. Making empanadillas brings me so many childhood memories of being in my hometown of Guayama, and seafood is really big in that area. Guayama, Salinas, Arroyo, going to the Malecón of Arroyo. My dad used to always take us to have some empanadillas, or my mom used to make them at home. There's just something about that scent of the sea that really reminds me of home. And they're ready to go into the fryer. So now we're gonna fry the empanadillas. We wanna make sure that we have a deep frying pan with either vegetable, canola oil. Make sure that it's really hot. I also like to have a plate next to the frying pan with some paper towels to make sure that it absorbs that extra oil. Let's do it. So you want to fry them on each side, I would say for around 4 to 5 minutes, until they are nice and golden. And this is how we make empanadillas de camarones, pastelillos de camarones at Casa Dining Traveler. I would love to hear your feedback or questions in the comments. And I also want to give a big thank you to the National Museum of Puerto Rican Arts and Culture that made this video happen. So make sure you guys go and check out the link in the description. And now for my favorite part, to eat. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye. Adios. Qué rico.